Great to be back here, and so thanks everyone for being the deciding factors here on as far as this panel goes, because we have a pretty friendly competition going. I hope it's friendly. I don't know. We haven't really rehearsed this, so it might not be. But we do have a few just fantastic companies, and so as Kathy was mentioning, we make this now a tradition at OMMA Social and the Social Insider Summits. And yeah, I mean, one of the things that's helpful for me, especially in a role that's evaluating new technologies, is to be able to see a number of them actually go head to head and try to share their thoughts along the same challenges. And yeah, this is also something as Kathy and I were first working on this. I know these always wind up being really useful just for my day job and often a lot of fun when we have the right presenters, and I'm pretty sure we do today. So as Kathy mentioned, we've got a pretty big challenge here. Got a marketer from the consumer electronics space and gearing up for the Olympics. And so with TV becoming increasingly social and often mobile as part of that, this is an advertiser that really wanted to capitalize on a pretty big TV buy, as we have a lot of marketers making a big investment in traditional media right now. So how can they get the most of it, and especially with the social hook for this show? So we're going to have each of the presenters go. I'll ask a couple of questions about the individual presentations, and then we'll open this up to you. So any questions you have, get them ready. You'll all be able to get your thoughts in and then vote for the winners. On that note, so are we starting with Kevin? Do we the alphabetical?
Yes, alphabetical. Sorry for the A. Yes. My last name.
So and no relation to Barry, by the way. So I'm not playing favorites, just because I was even getting thrown off. I'm like, wait, am I going in the middle now? And so this might also be a MediaPost first. So on that note, I'm gonna hand it over to Kevin and Vigil and hear your pitch.
All right. Thank you very much so let me introduce myself. Kevin Eriks, Chief Revenue Officer for Vigil. For those of you that don't know, Vigil is a rewards loyalty platform for the entertainment business, and we happen to be starting with television. If we want to go right into the pitch, and by the way, I think it's an interesting format. You get us in a situation where we give up the goods, so to speak. So I will footnote that we've shared a lot, but there is still more to share, just in case anybody is interested. Okay, so let's. What's that?
I think you need the clicker on the podium.
I need the clicker on the podium. That would help.
There you go.
Okay, so I just gave a little introduction to Vigil. We're not that old of a company. We actually launched about 3 months ago, and so far we've seen some pretty tremendous results. We have about 800,000 downloads, 650,000 registered users, and we have really, I think the big differentiators, we have really strong engagement with our user base on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And as I mentioned, so Vigil is the first rewards program for people who love TV. The tagline is watch TV and get rewards. Just a real quick background on how Vigil works. So right now Vigil is an application in the iOS format and iOS platform. So you go to the app, you download the Vigil app, and when you register, you give some basic information. We get age, gender, zip code, and cable satellite provider. Once you have downloaded the app and you're registered, you can then go to any television program, television network that is out there. Currently, we are ingesting 200 plus channels live, and that's representative of about 90 to 95% of all television ratings. And so you check into any TV show that you're watching, and we have a technology not too dissimilar probably to Shazam, but where we take an audio fingerprint of what you're watching. It matches on the back end, and the back end is the live ingestion at the cable head end that we're doing. And the audio fingerprint matches what we find in the database, and we confirm it with the user. Once you are confirmed, or you confirm your check-in, then you are able to start earning rewards for the amount of time spent on Vigil. Everything is prorated, so if you check in and you think you're getting 200 points just for checking in, that's not the case. You have to stay with the entirety of the program to get your full points. There is an element of play, share, and discover that we'll shed a little bit of light on as we go forward. And then, I think a big differentiator for us is you can redeem your points for real rewards. And, what we're trying to be is a rewards catalog that offers brands and opportunities that people consume or love day in and day out. Okay, so for the Vigil on our side of the equation for the Olympics, obviously it's a huge television event, and it always has been. And I think we're going to dedicate a ton of editorial and promotional resource to covering the games. And if you're familiar with the Vigil platform at all, we have what we call our What's On carousel. And the What's On carousel basically is updated daily and features shows that are coming, that are on, that are hot, that are talked about, and the Olympic Games will certainly be included in the editorial placement within What's On. And as you know, the Olympics is covered on multiple networks across the NBC family, so we will have editorial placement for NBC broadcasts as well as the NBC cable nets. But again, we're going to get behind it from editorial point of view, from promotional point of view. People are going to get a chance to earn points while they're engaging with the Olympics content on air. And in addition to that, we're going to be pushing the Olympics coverage through our social channels, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Facebook, et cetera, to our user base so they're aware of it. So if you read the RFP or you saw what we're looking at, I think it's important to note what Samsung's, we know who it is, so we cut to the chase. There's only one electronics supplier that's the official Olympics partner, so we might as well give them their credit. So there are three objectives that Samsung is out to achieve over the course and during the Olympic Games. One is to reinforce their position as an official Olympic sponsor. And I think one of our key value propositions is we can make your television/media investments work harder. So as anybody would imagine, the Olympics investment is quite a pretty penny. So now you need to activate that investment on a lot of different platforms to get everything you can out of it. And that's one goal of Samsung's. Another goal is to drive social engagement and activation. And a third goal is to increase awareness and sales of Samsung product. So the way we looked at this is we're going to deliver on those objectives in 4 ways. We're going to offer targeted media. We're going to offer engagement through Vigil points and the now known gamification layer that exists. We're going to integrate Samsung's message editorially, and we're also going to have a drive to retail. So taking them in order. Again, as I mentioned at the start of the presentation, we get pretty good data points upon registration. So we get age, gender, DMA, and cable satellite provider. And really what that allows us to do is zero in 100% on Samsung's audience. So in addition to being associated with the Olympics, because they are an official partner, we can also make sure that their message gets in front of the right user at the right time. Also worth noting that our targeted media units, most of them are engagement based, so the advertiser and the agency pay upon completed engagement. Moving forward to the second piece, which is engagement. How do we drive engagements? So with gamifications, we can incent our users to share their check-in, and that will get people talking about the Olympics. That'll get people talking about Vigil. That'll get people talking about Samsung. And as you'll see in the other elements that we've provided, we're going to give Samsung an opportunity to post their content and to utilize Olympics-based content or athlete-based content within the platform, and we can use Vigil points to help drive sharing of that content. When we talk about engagement, we will set up this new product that we call Vigil Live into the Olympics broadcast. And what Vigil Live is it's basically a real-time engagement product that allows users a chance to win more points for engaging and participating in the content that they're watching. And when we say engaging and participating in the content that they're watching, we mean that from both a programming and advertising point of view. So if you've used the platform, you might know what I'm talking about, but if you haven't, when you check into the Olympics, you will then be offered a chance to participate in Olympics Vigil Live, and it'll take you into a game platform where you will be answering questions on Vigil that are based on what you're watching on air. And not only will those questions be about the sport or the event that you're watching, but the questions can also be about the Samsung commercials that are running over the course of the Olympics. So for anyone that's looking to get a quick check on brand recall or awareness or anything like that, we can essentially do it in real time and do it as part of the engagement platform called Vigil Live. This is just a little bit of a few mocks on how Vigil Live is structured. So the first mock shows you when you would check into the Olympic Games. Then you see that sort of engagement slider, as we call it, just below the London Games logo. It takes you into sort of this question trivia platform. You get points for answering the questions correctly. And in addition to getting points and asking questions about Samsung brand message, we can incorporate advertising throughout the entire Vigil Live product. Gamification, obviously this is something that is core to the 18 to 34 demographic. When you talk about engagement units that are essentially 75 to 80% of our inventory, in those engagement units you have the opportunity to create a Samsung-based game that is Olympics themed, that is athlete themed, whatever they have the rights to do. And again, it's their rights that they're utilizing. We can set that up in gameplay and reward users for interfacing with a Samsung-based Olympic game. Editorial integration, I think, again, when you go into Vigil, every show that is on television at the moment has what we call a show page. And the Olympic Games will have a show page for NBC, for CNBC, for USA, for each network that's covering the games. And as part of that show page, we would allow Samsung to program that page as part of editorial. Samsung putting content on the show pages helps us. It makes the platform more engaging, and it is something that we think the users have shown an affinity for, and it puts them in the conversation of content and allows people to see them in a different light. The final piece of the proposal that we would put together is the drive to retail. So as I mentioned earlier on, we have real rewards that you get for the points that you earn with the time that you spend with Vigil, and we would use the rewards to highlight an opportunity, make it the Vigil deal of the day that allows Samsung to partner with, say someone like Best Buy, their best retailer partner, to get people into store. So use your points that you've just earned watching the Olympics, go into Best Buy and buy Samsung product. And then the last example that we have for driving to retail, we could create something that rewards the top fans of Olympics. So anybody that, say, checks into the Olympic Games more than 5 times over the course of 2 weeks gets a mobile coupon or some sort of discount directly from Samsung that they can download, they can print out, and they can bring to Samsung's retail partner, again, to help drive basket sales in store. The premise of the proposal was 100K or more. Without giving away too much, this would be more than 100K, but I think you see sort of the different parts of the funnel that we're covering and that we have the ability to address. And again, the 4 pieces of the proposal: targeted media, tailored engagements, editorial integration, and a drive to retail. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Kevin. You could applaud. Not easy stuff. These people. So a couple quick questions for you. First of all, I was wondering if you figured out yet. I know this is pretty new, but why people are really using the app? Is it more for the points? I know there's stuff that I know when I've used it, getting alerts for when Top Chef is on. Just something really functional. It's great. So I was wondering what your take on that is.
I think I think people are using it for the rewards. I think people are using it because it gives them sort of a next generation TV guide. I think people are using it because it's fun and they get rewarded for something that they're already doing. I think where we want to go is we want rewards to be a byproduct of the platform itself. And we think that with the roadmap that we have in front of us, that people will come because it's fun, their friends are there, and it gives them lots of things to do to make TV better.
Right. And the other thing I was wondering is, so Vigo's still new and obviously growing fast, but how much do you think Samsung needs to really promote its involvement with Vigo in this case, or how much is it really about the marketer reaching as many people as possible within the scope of that app, whoever happens to be using it?
Well, I think, again, I think the point is that Samsung will spend a lot of money on an Olympic sponsorship. And, the integrated package of what was just recently today used to be, okay, I'll deliver you something that is on air, online, and mobile. And I think that's changed dramatically. And the integrated package for a sponsor of an event like that is on air, mobile, social. I mean, there are so many different outlets where content is being consumed, conversations are being spawned, that someone like Samsung has a vested interest in making sure that they cover all those bases.
Great, thanks a lot. So, I'm fine with giving a round of applause after every sentence because this stuff isn't easy. But on that note, I'm going to turn the clicker over to Barry.
Hello, everybody. You guys still awake after lunch? I will keep this very short, very sweet, very simple. I was under the impression we would try and do this in about 5 slides, 5 minutes. I understand the day is long, and we'll try and get you out of here quick, or at least onto questions. Digigraph.me. You guys probably haven't heard of us yet. We're very, very new. We started the company in July of this past year, and we've been rolling ever since. What we do is we deliver personalized, autographed, digital photos of celebrities, athletes, artists, leaders, public figures, instantly, on demand, to consumers as a reward for engaging with a brand or making a charitable contribution or casting a vote. And we do it in every digital channel. This is patented, proprietary technology, and it's very, very new to market. Okay, as I looked at this RFP, we tried to think about, okay, first off, which brand was it? And we too figured we'll go with Samsung. It made the most sense. The idea was to maximize their TV spend in a way that was going to give people the most engaging social media extension of the TV spend and help them maximize the investment that they're making, the sizable investment they're making in the Olympic sponsorship. So the stats that we've been looking at over the years, or over the recent time, is that in order to make content that is socially relevant, it needs to be important to the recipient and share-worthy to their friends. People share their content when they want to increase their own sense of intelligence or their own value for the conversations that they have with their friends, or for the reasons that we all share content. What we are trying to do here in this instance is give people a reason to make this campaign extend. When we approach an RFP opportunity, we do a little research and we try and come up with one core guiding insight. And the one that we have come up with is that consumers value and will share a personal connection to an Olympic athlete that inspires them. If a viewer of the Olympics is watching TV and there is some moment that speaks to them, if they had some sense that they were connected to that moment, to that athlete, or even to the brand that's associated with that athlete, not only will they welcome that in, but they'll share it with their friends. So we thought about what athlete would speak well to that idea, and we came up with Michael Phelps. And so when Digigraph is involved in a campaign for a brand, what we do is we deliver personalized autograph photos of Michael Phelps instantly on demand in any digital channel. And if you look at what the deliverable is right there, it includes a personalized note written in the handwriting of the celebrity with a celebrity signature. The icons that make it very easy for them to share this photo with their friends and their other followers and likers. And we will brand these images for however our client brands need them branded. We did this relatively quickly, but I wanted to give you something that you can all actually try here in this room. So this isn't just a theoretical RFP response, this is a real RFP response. If you guys pick up your mobile phones, you can actually try the technology. You'll send a text message and we'll push back a personalized autograph photo. So get your phones out, try it now, do it. You are going to send a text message to the short code 95323. And the only thing you need to send to that short code is the keyword DG, which is short for Digigraph, OMMA, O-M-M-A. When you send that text message in, you will get a text message response. Just follow the instructions in the text message responses, and you will get a personalized autograph photo. Now, I would have loved to have used a personalized autograph photo of Michael Phelps in this presentation, but since I don't have a license to use Michael Phelps' photo or the Samsung brand in this particular instance, I made a digigraph of a globally beloved icon of sport who today announced that he is the global brand ambassador for Digigraph.me. So you will all get back a personalized autograph photo of Wayne Gretzky. So if we think about how we would use digigraphs to execute a campaign for the Samsung brand, it would start with any Samsung ad on air. Anywhere they have an ad, they could include a bug or a call to action or a drive to their Facebook page or a drive to their website, because the digigraph can activate from any digital source. They can post a call out on Facebook. They can tweet about it. They can put a link to it on their websites. It really doesn't matter. So whether a fan is watching TV and does it with their mobile devices or their tablets, or whether they do it, looking at a bus shelter where there happens to be a supporting piece of marketing collateral that's tied to the strategy, they can execute right there. What it will give them instantaneously is what you guys all got back. It's a personalized autograph thank you from this athlete that we're not saying is a piece of authentic signed merchandise. This is not what this is. We're not trying to get into the merchandise business. What this is a way to memorialize that fan's participation in watching the Olympics, that fan's taking part in seeing Michael Phelps win his gold medals and getting a sense that he's supported or has some kind of connection to the fan themselves. And the first thing that we see people do when they get these photos back is make them their Facebook profile pictures. They tweet them out to their friends. They think it's cool enough to share. And every single one of them that shares the branding, shares the connectivity to the brand, and then beyond that, what you'll find, as those of you who tried the digigraph will see, is that you get an email as well. So every single one of these personalized autograph photos that we deliver starts the permission-based marketing cadence between the end user and the brand. They receive an email, they could receive a text message. It's all opt-in, it's all CAN-SPAM compliant, it's all MMA compliant. We will never expose a brand in a way that will lead them to any kind of trouble, at least not knowingly. And then the results, which I'm having a hard time reading, the results that the client should anticipate are really going to be a function of how many impressions they can put out there in the marketplace to begin with. Once those are out there, our social media engagement piece will increase their reach dramatically. It will work in any relevant channel and will allow us to reach out to the end users' networks within Facebook, on Twitter, in GetGlue. And in the ongoing marketing communications that follow, the client can send out incentivized purchase offers. They can feature a particular product in the campaign. They can say Michael Phelps loves a particular type of TV or a particular type of phone, and you will measurably increase the sales of those particular items. So let's see. And at the end of the day, I think one of the most valuable things that the client will walk away with is a massive new-to-file, permission-based marketing database that will be proprietary just to them and to no one else, that they can use ongoing to increase the lifetime value of that campaign and the life cycle for all of the people who participated. The way we like to look at it is the total added campaign value is priceless. And in terms of the budget, we know we have to stay within $100,000, so we can do it.
Excellent. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
So, question for you is, so will this brand get some kind of exclusivity during the Olympics? How does that work? Or?
The brand will have the exclusive, the brand would have the exclusive to, let's say, that category, but certainly to the specific athletes that they have paid endorsement deals with. As part of the RFP, we knew that Samsung had invested in a number of athletes, and they had the rights to use the images of those athletes. So with respect to anything having to do with those folks, they would have an exclusive.
And so then the question is, let's say you get really popular and everyone starts working with you, and so you've got an event like the Olympics, which is a really interesting scenario. Yep. Then how can brands prevent this from getting diluted if now I see 3 different offers come out of getting your digital autograph? How do they keep that fresh?
That's a great question. We're doing what we can to try and keep things, keep a sense of scarcity. We're not going to market to the same clients when we have a client in that particular category. We also limit the total number of digigraphs available for any particular campaign. We put time limits on the amount of time that they will run, and we are looking to execute these kinds of programs in a multitude of different kinds of verticals where they'd be relevant. But the last thing we want to do is commoditize the value of this new thing we've just created.
Thanks a lot, Barry.
Thank you, David.
Yeah. Big round of applause, and start getting your questions ready. So we'll hear from Neil from Shazam, and then open it up to the floor in just a few minutes.
Hi, everyone. I'm actually going to stand up because I'm tired of sitting. So good to see everyone. It's funny to see that that these guys went with Samsung. When we got the RFP, there was some sort of keyword information in the RFP, which led us to believe that it was Panasonic. As what did you say? It was something about sort of like an also ran, or everybody knows the brand. But
I was really making stuff up, so
yeah,
it's funny how much people are reading.
So
into
Panasonic,
this.
which is also luckily an Olympic sponsor. Am I supposed to point this at any particular thing? Okay. So, I'm going to skip the part for the sake of brevity. I'm going to skip the part where I talk about how the smartphone has radically changed consumer behavior. And I'm going to skip right to the part where we talk about how the fact that 86% of smartphone users are multitasking with their smartphone while they're watching TV is a huge challenge and also a huge opportunity, right? And it's a huge challenge because as an advertiser, you spend all this time and effort and money creating these 30 and 60-second mini films with sight, sound, and motion to create an emotional connection with me as a consumer, to get me to laugh, to get me to cry, to get me to think about your brand, right? And at the end of that 30 seconds, what happens, right? It's almost like we're saying to you, good luck, Mr. Consumer, go find us on Facebook, go remember the URL that I tagged at the end of my spot, remember the 800 number, oh, and by the way, remember to choose my brand when you're standing in the store in front of a giant shelf of my brand and, oh, by the way, my competitors' brands, right? And so what we're doing at Shazam is allowing advertisers to continue that journey from the 30 seconds, which, by the way, is the most expensive 30 seconds that you can buy in all of media. Taking that experience, letting consumers grab it off the screen onto their phones, where they're turning that 30 seconds into a 5 or 10 minute long engagement with your brand. And we're doing it at a scale with our 200 million worldwide users that comes close to matching the scale of TV. So for Panasonic and their Olympics agenda, we focused on three tentpoles that we think is really going to help extend their Olympic sponsorship and drive tons of digital engagement with their brand. So athletes, technology, and music. So one of the challenges for any Olympic sponsor is how to get the most out of these athlete sponsorships that everybody does, right? There's great opportunity to drive huge engagement with consumers around this really cool content that everybody has. But at the same time, a lot of this content goes totally unseen by consumers. So we're going to use Shazam for TV to drive engagement with this content and, again, let people spend 5, 10, 20 minutes looking at these videos. And how we're going to do it is we're going to do POV cams for the athletes. So imagine, you're running down the track doing the 110-meter hurdles with the view of a sprinter. Or, you're doing 10 backflips into a round off through the eyes of a gymnast. This is the kind of content that sucks you into your smartphone. The next thing you know, 20 minutes have gone by, and I've just watched all these videos about Panasonic's sponsored athletes, and oh, by the way, it's brought to me in Panasonic HD. For the technology portion of the campaign, we're tapping into the native functionality of smartphones, so compasses, gyroscopes, and creating gyroscopic panoramas that, again, drop you right in the middle of the Olympic experience. So you can take tours of the Olympic venues, you can see where the athletes live, you can see where they train, you can see where they party. And, most of the world does not get to experience the Olympics firsthand, okay? But Panasonic is bringing you this experience where you can get a behind-the-scenes glimpse of the Olympic experience through the eyes of their athletes. And finally, we're going to tap into Shazam's heritage as the #1 music discovery app by offering a free download of the song that's featured in the Panasonic ad. It's actually a Sarah Brightman song. I'm not going to say it's terrible, but let's just say it's not my taste. But again, the idea is I'm seeing this 30-second spot, and I'm grabbing this experience off the screen onto my smartphone. This free song download helps me continue the journey with the Panasonic brand. And of course, all this stuff is going to be shareable, right? Because we're going to tap into the social functionality that's happening within the app on a daily basis as people are sharing the discovery moments that they have around music discoveries. It's all going to be tweetable. It's all shareable on Facebook. And frankly, like when I see the POV video of like a fencer or judo or good Lord, even like table tennis, that's the kind of stuff that personally I would go and share with my friends. So again, we're all about driving that engagement for Panasonic's brand, taking their Olympic sponsorship, which they spent a ton of money on, and really giving it legs and furthering the digital engagement. And again, you saw before, the whole idea is what happens when that 30 seconds is over. And right now, that's kind of what it is. So we're saying to Panasonic, empower consumers to engage beyond that 30-second experience with Shazam. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil. And so I'm sure that this is going to be a busy time of year for Shazam. How are you making sure that the experiences are really ownable and customized for each advertiser?
That is an excellent question. Really what we look at is we look at what each individual advertiser has to leverage, right? In a way, we're sort of like connective tissue between consumers seeing an experience on TV and then bringing that into the one-to-one medium of their smartphone. So as I heard a guy from Twitter say the other day, we're a bridge, we're not an island. So pretty much everybody has Olympic sponsorships and athlete sponsorships, so it's just a matter of us being smart and working together with our clients to really find the best use of those assets.
Great, thanks. And so one way you know that this is not an official RFP is that how quickly would he be showing the door if he's just dissing the client's taste in music.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You have a few liberties here that maybe you don't have elsewhere. On that note,
I
really
love
want
Sarah Brightman.
I want to open up to you. So you're all evaluating these pitches here. So what's on your mind? What will help you make a decision?
Hi, Tony Jarvis, Olympic Media Consultancy. Just to help everybody here, when we're in the role of evaluating campaigns, we have to have at least a ballpark cost. And I suspect, being an Olympic athlete, former Olympic athlete, that some of the costs of these 3 campaigns are very different, because you're going to be into all sorts of rights and what have you with the athletes, with the Olympic Authority, with the London Games Organising Committee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So just I think for us all, we need at least, you know, some kind of ballpark cost to give us a relative perspective.
Sure. On the Digigraph side, we work with advertiser clients who already have the rights to use their brand endorsing athletes' images, and in some cases it's an additional ask to get a signature in their campaigns. But it is not intended to be a meaningful increase in the expenditure. By virtue of being an official Olympic sponsor, Samsung would have the right to use the Olympic rings and the Olympic imagery, and we would really be taking what the client already had the rights to use and extending it into the channel where they're looking to engage.
Yeah, I agree with Barry. And in the conversations we're having now with Olympic partners, you know, we're building in the 19 days or whatever it is that the IOC needs to approve everything that they do. And so everybody who has an Olympic sponsorship knows the ins and outs of all the legalities and what they can and can't do with their assets.
And so there's still the question of
$1 million.
Yeah, now what's the price?
For something like this, honestly, it would probably be somewhere between $250,000 and $500,000.
You guys have ballpark?
We've really focused on working with clients who actually have those rights already. We haven't.
So, but what would the campaign cost still to run?
Oh, okay. The overall campaign cost to work with a Digigraph execution is a basic setup fee. There's creative costs, and then there is a per delivery of Digigraph fee, depending on whether we're working with the client as a CPM client or whether it's based on a cost per acquisition, asking for a little more information. But it's certainly within $100,000.
Yeah, I think ours would probably be in the range 250 to 350.
All right, who's next?
Well, I had to leave the room, so I don't know if it's appropriate for me to ask a question. But did you have a TV budget associated with this, David? Did you have like a number figure in mind, or was it just that there was TV and this was going to supplement?
I mean, it was a significant TV buy, and so it was...
Define significant.
See, this is the problem with me being a digital buyer here. So,
Okay.
$10 million.
Okay. That's not that big, actually, but...
For the first day.
For the opening ceremony.
Hi, my name's Klaus. I'm working at an interactive agency here in New York. So first of all, I liked all 3 presentations. I thought they were really interesting. I don't know if this, what I would maybe like to hear from all 3 of you is, what would you think would be the biggest hurdle in selling this to the client? Kind of maybe go a little bit behind the process than where we are now, but this would also tell something about, which one I think would be the best, because I would be I'm often in a situation where I have to sell something like this.
I'm happy to start. The hurdle that I've come across most frequently is a client who says that it's just a digital signed autograph. It's not an authentic piece of merchandise. But when I let the prospect know that we're not trying to get into that space. We're not looking to create an asset that the end user recipient is then going to be able to turn around and sell on eBay. It's something that's autographed to them, and it's really just for them. It's about memorializing a moment in time, and then they try the demo in the room, and I have yet to see anyone who's tried it who didn't say at the very least, wow, that's really cool. And so that's the primary hurdle that we deal with.
Yeah, I think the primary hurdle is just prioritization within the client or agency organization. You gotta find a way to become a top priority and not a sort of the afterthought. And anybody that's been in digital for a while knows that we've all been through that journey. And I think you need the ideas that are going to connect with them and make sure that you get a front row seat when they start their first round of evaluations and first rounds of their sort of pillars of executing their strategy.
For Shazam for TV, because it involves TV and mobile and digital and social, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. So for us, the biggest challenge is sort of marshaling everybody and making sure that they're all on board with sort of their piece of the experience.
Hi, my name's Marilyn, and I run a digital agency in New York. And my question is for Kevin. And I was wondering, like, in terms of your starting Vigil, were you in the second screen like Shazam was originally with sound syncing and recognizing, cataloging of music for recognition, and you're sort of cataloging television shows, which some of the other, there's other competitors out there that are foraying into second screen sound syncing with television, but you've added this dimension, which is really interesting in terms of the rewards and sort of closing that community, if you will, as well as opening that community. I was just wondering what the background was, how that came about. Like, were you in the sound syncing business?
Was I personally? No,
or whoever.
The kernel of the idea around Vigil actually came from the founder of the company, this guy Bob Sillerman, who's a serial entrepreneur. And he's been in the media business for a long time, and the company that he was running prior to Vigil was CKX, and CKX, among other things, was the majority shareholder in American Idol. And when he was looking at season 10, I think it was, of American Idol, he was trying to figure out what the delta of opportunity was between holding a rating across the entire season and versus reality, which is starts strong, dips, and then finishes strong at the finale. And that delta was a significant amount of money. And the original idea around Vigil was a loyalty rewards platform to help drive/hold ratings for television. That was the germ of it.
Interesting, fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, you ready for the vote, David?
Yeah.
Or do we have any other questions? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now we're gonna pick the winner here. So we'll go in the order of the presentation. So for Vigil, we'll do show of hands. Show of hands for Vigil. As you see, this will be very scientific.
Yes, exactly.
And then Digigraph. And what about
Thank
Shazam? I think we
Hooray.
have the audience choice right here.
Yes, okay. I guess it's Shazam. You get a free can of soda, Neil. Congratulations.
Sweet.
So thanks.
Yeah, thanks to the great panelists. Thanks all
Yeah,
of you
please
for
give them a
Thank
round
you,
of applause.
everyone.
They're panelists who actually have to do work. So thanks a lot, guys.